Hello, hello, hello. I am the Linux Mensch. In a recent video, I showed how to install Arch Linux the manual way with encryption in a real bare metal computer. Today, I'm going to go into that computer and install Virt-Manager. Now, Virt-Manager is my favorite virtual machine software. And if you're installing Virt-Manager in Linux Mint or a Debian-based distribution, it's really easy. You just go into the Software Center and click on Virt-Manager and install it. But if you're installing Virt-Manager in pure Arch Linux, you have to install a lot of other packages and change some configuration files. Now, I have a script free to download from my GitLab repository, a script that I made myself for installing Virt-Manager. And every so often, I like to make sure it's still working because Arch Linux is such a fast rolling release. Things change, and sometimes a script that you made 6 months ago or a year ago stops working or needs to be corrected. So I'm going to go into that computer and install Virt-Manager and see if my script still works. So let's get to it. So right now I'm in my main production computer running Arch Linux with the awesome window manager, and I'm going to turn on my capture card. So don't go away. So now I'm in my other computer using my capture card. And like I said, this is the computer I used in a recent video to do a manual install of Arch Linux with encryption. And of course, this is the awesome window manager. And let's just open up a terminal. I turned on HTOP. And this computer has 8 gigabytes of RAM, and we're running at 359 megabytes of RAM. Not bad, eh? And let's just close that. I meant to open up Xterm, by the way. Let's open up Xterm and let's do fast fetch. You can see I'm running Arch Linux. This is my Acer Expire 3950, and I'm in the awesome window manager with my configuration file. So let's clear the screen and let's CD into my GitLab repository. Manage, let's ls it. Let's CD into Arch. Let's clear the screen. Let's ls it. And right here, I have this file. This is a script that installs Virt-Manager in Arch Linux, a script that I made. So let's just Vim into it and take a look. Vim. So this is my script. It's going to install all the files you need to make Virt-Manager work. And it's going to copy some configuration files and change some other things in the computer. So let's quit out of there and let's run the script. I'm going to put the command in like that. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to put my password in. Wow. It's going to install all this stuff. 136 packages. So I think the last time I tried this script was early this year. It might have been in February or March, maybe in April. I'm not sure. But I like to try it once in a while and make sure it's still working. And let's see if I can get a virtual machine software operating and functioning in this computer. And while that's doing that, I'm going to click on another workspace. I'm going to open up Firefox. And I'm going to archlinux.org. I'm just going to download the Arch Linux ISO. And I'm not going to go through an install. I just want to see if I can create a virtual machine and if it has internet access. So I'm going to download the Arch Linux ISO because it's smaller than most other distribution ISOs. Okay, I'm downloading this one. It's from July 1st. And really, there's going to be a new Arch Linux ISO at the end of next week because next Friday is the 1st of August. And Arch Linux usually puts out a new ISO on the 1st of the month, but it doesn't matter. We can use the July 1st one and see how fast it's downloading. That's why I'm going to test it with my Arch Linux ISO. Because like I said, some other ISOs are 3 gigabytes or 4 gigabytes. Most are around 3.5 gigabytes. Look how fast it's downloading. It's fantastic. Okay, so we did that. And let's close this. Let's just close my web browser. And this finished. So to run the script and download these files, it takes maybe a minute and a half at the most. So now after you run the script, you have to reboot. So let's reboot. So we are rebooting. And I'm going to hit enter just to speed that up a little bit. I'm going to type in my encryption password. And I'm going to type in my username. I'm going to put Mensch's password in. And I'm going to type in startx. I'm going to log into the awesome window manager. And there we are. I'm going to hit my mod key. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into my terminal. And in my Zesh configuration file, I have an alias for getting into the awesome window manager. So if you're using my Zesh configuration file, you can do config. And it's going to take you into the awesome window manager. And let's just get out of there. And of course, if you're not using my Zesh configuration file, then you're going to have to cd into .config/awesome. ls it, and then you're going to have to vim into rc lua. Okay, let's just get out of there. Let's cd it. Like I said, in my Zesh configuration file, I have an alias, config. Anyways, let's just search for Firefox. Let's go down here. And here it is here. I have Virt-Manager in the menu, the awesome window manager menu. So if you see here, let's just go to another workspace. Virt-Manager doesn't show up in there. I already have it in there, but it's commented out or it's deactivated, right? So I'm going to line 121 and I'm going to delete these 2 dashes. So in the awesome window manager, to deactivate a line, you don't put the hashtag or the number sign, you put 2 dashes. So I'm going to delete those 2 dashes and I'm activating Virt-Manager. And I'm going to save the file and I'm going to close my terminal and I'm going to restart. Awesome. And now you see Virt-Manager showing up in the menu. So let's click it on. Let's see if it's going to work. Let's see if my script still works. If Arch Linux hasn't updated something that invalidates my script and stops it from working. So we're there and I'm still connecting. Look at this. And the first time you connect in Virt-Manager, it takes long. But now if we get out, and the first time you connect in Virt-Manager, after reboot, it takes a bit longer, but the next time it shouldn't. So let's click it on again and we'll see we're connected. So I'm going to click on this button and I'm going to go forward. I'm going to browse local, and there's my Arch Linux ISO. Okay. I'm going to click it on. I'm going to click on open. And I'm bringing the Arch Linux ISO there. It's already recognizing it that it's Arch Linux. So I'm going to go forward. And this box only comes up the first time that you use Virt-Manager. So the next time you go to make a virtual machine, you're not going to get this. So I'm going to click on yes. And I'm going to give it 4 gigs of RAM. I'm going to give it 4 CPUs. And I'm going to go forward. And I'm going to give it a 50 gig hard drive, and I'm going to go forward. And I'm not going to go through a full install, so don't worry about that. And there it is. So let's finish it. Let's see if we can log on to the Arch Linux ISO, and if we have internet, because having internet is the most important thing. So it's telling you the virtual machine is now being created. And there we go. Let's just make that full screen. And we have 5 more seconds. We could just hit enter. So it looks like it's working. Now, the main thing is that we have internet, and I'm not going to go through an install. So I'm using a capture card from my main production computer to record what's happening in another real bare metal computer. And I just installed Virt-Manager and downloaded the Arch Linux ISO, and we're going to see if we have a virtual machine capability. So first of all, I'm going to do set font tier -132B. There we go. Let's clear the screen. Let's see if we have internet. Ping archlinux.org. And we have internet. So Control C is going to close that. Control L is going to clear the screen. And that's it. In this video, I wanted to see if my script for installing Virt-Manager and copying over the appropriate configuration files still works, because Arch Linux is a fast rolling release. So in the computer where I did a manual install of Arch Linux with encryption and videotaped it the other day, I logged into that computer using my capture card, and I ran my script and installed Virt-Manager and tested it, and it works. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like it and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I am the Linux Mensch.